If you're like me in Photoshop, there's commands I use all the time. Layer styles, layer duplicate. Most of them, in fact quite a lot of them, have not got any shortcuts. No easy quick way to just go to the keyboard, and that's probably the quickest way of doing it. Just go Command C or Command F or whatever. You can set it up though. So if you've got, say, a favourite, one of my favourite is always layer and duplicate. What you can do, just go to Edit and then Keyboard Shortcuts. And then you've got all the different ones. And this one, Application Menus, just go for that. And then down to a layer. You can see that exactly the same along the top. So image, a layer, exactly the same. Then break that down to a layer. And then you've got duplicate layer. Just click on there. And then you get a little box appear. Now you can go for, say, Command R or Control R. And it will warn you. If it doesn't like you, doesn't want you to use it, it will come up. It will be removed from View and Rulers. Now maybe you don't use rulers that often, so you could do that. Go for Command R. Or maybe one that's probably less for me, Command and comma. In fact, that's got nothing set up at all, for me anyway. So select that, just simply go on the keyboard, Command and then comma. Once you've done that, go to Accept. And you'll see then you've got Photoshop defaults. If you've never changed any of the keyboard shortcuts, what you can do, you've got Photoshop defaults, but as soon as you modify it, you've got modified here. You've got also the option here, if you want to, you can save all your changes to current set of shortcuts or create a new set based on it. Perfectly reasonable as well. Personally, I'm just going to keep it fairly limited, but you could obviously have more than that. Also, you've got an option here which is very odd, add shortcut. Now I have done that, added a shortcut, but I don't see the point really of having two shortcuts to the same command. There's not that many keyboard characters anyway, so the last thing you want is to actually have another shortcut to that. Something it doesn't make much sense. And you can also delete, of course, the shortcut. So you can add a shortcut and it will just put it below like that. And I'm not going to do that, but you could create another shortcut. It does work, but you can also delete that shortcut. I personally can't see any use. Maybe put some comments saying, of course, it's really useful if you... For me, I can't see any point. However, once you've got your shortcut, and that's that one there, got that all saved, you can also summarise it. So if you decide, you know what, I can't remember all the shortcuts and there's lots of what you can do, click there, summarise and save. Come up there because I've got one there, and it's got a complete list. Now you can print this off. This is just a web page, and you've got you can see there's lots and lots of gaps. So if you want like trim, crop, duplicate, that's for images. And you've got tons of other ones. Obviously, all along this, you can print it off. Just quickly print it off or save it to a PDF document or something like that. But also what you can do, just quickly click OK, and now just try it out. That's the best thing. So just go over Command and comma, and it comes up straight away, Command, comma. And you can always go back and you can delete it. You can always just simply go back to over here to Edit and Keyboard Shortcuts, and then just go down again to that one, duplicate layer, and remove it. Don't have to have it, click OK. And sometimes, of course, when I'm doing these tutorials, it's obviously better just to go to the command over here, layer, etc., than obviously go to a shortcut that may be very different from, so you've got multiple people will obviously have different shortcuts. Well, I hope you found this of interest. Thank you much. Also, what shortcuts do you use? What are your favourite ones? Which commands do you think, well, why isn't there a shortcut for it? Maybe you go over here, filters, maybe use, liquify, etc. They've all got shortcuts. Maybe you don't use liquify at all, but maybe use flame a lot. Do you set that up? Have you set flame up? Have you set lens flare? Also other ones, there's lots of things like layers. Do you use like duplicate layer? Have you set that up as a shortcut? Be interesting to know what shortcuts you've changed, or if you've even touched the shortcuts. Maybe you just think, really, never use shortcuts, always just use the menu. I don't know. I imagine most people use shortcuts. Always very hard to tell. Anyway, if you could leave some comments about that, that would be just great to find out, and find out what sort of things you're doing with shortcuts. That maybe there's some other great uses for shortcuts that I'm really not aware of.